And I'm on. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit stretched of a video. I've gotten a lot of unfair critique from the Sáme people on the second video I made. That wasn't about the reindeer herding, but about the will of doing dolphin massacre, basically. And basically, this video that we're now looking at hasn't got that many views, although it's like almost 4 years old now. Which is, I don't know what to say. It's bizarre because this was not the focus, and I got all of these like racist claims, all these Sami hatred claims, and I just didn't find them adequate. However, one reindeer herder actually pointed out this video, and I was just really confused. This is a really old video, and I don't remember like half of what I was talking about. And mostly I only got like positive feedback from Sámi people after I uploaded this video. I even had a couple of people that I know just rechecking this video to see if it's adequate, and they were actually of Sámi descent. However, recently I've gotten a person writing to me and talked about a few specific things that I'm like, I sort of agree upon, sort of half the way I agree upon, and there is one claim that I don't even know is true. So, if I don't find the specific place that you can kind of find me to be a little bit like against or trying to shed the Sámi people as a whole into a bad light, tell me, because I don't know. But I am not going to say that I am attacking the Sámi people as a whole, but I will actually attack the reindeer herders, because I am totally against reindeer herding, if you see what I mean. But it's not like I want to say that all reindeer herders are bad people. I just think they are good people doing bad things, just with any other type of animal exploitation.
When me tell him say me nah eat no fish, nah no meat now. And when me eat them, I wonder when me yam. When me tell him say that I'm a vegan, man.
For those of you who don't know what the Sámi people are, they are the indigenous people of Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia. Also, I want to correct this one. So when I say indigenous people, there aren't any good evidence that some people has been there longer than, let's say, the Norse people from like the southern part. However, it is very strongly suggested that in those regions there were mostly Sámi people that lived. Just to be very clear. Part actually. They have strong traditions within the song type yoik, which I really like. They have their very strong shamanistic culture as yeah, they have strong shamanistic culture, and I'm very spiritual myself as well. And today I'm going to talk about the way they treat reindeers. And first of all, I want to say that this is not a main focus that I want to have. Yes, I also said this in the other reply video, that is only 2% of the problem, because 98% of the problem is fishing and farming. Animal agriculture, fishing and many other activities are way worse than this. Indeed. But I feel like nobody have the guts to do this. Yeah, and keep in mind, I'd been vegan for a little bit over a year and when this video was out, and I had a very different approach then. This is not how I would talk nowadays. It was way more aggressive. Well, it can happen, but then there's probably a reason behind it. So, people have even told me not to make this video because they know they will be angry, but someone has to stand up. Yeah, I felt that was a really good idea. So, everything of that said, Bores everyone. Yes, and there I said Bores. I'm now going to take you through a little journey about why this tradition should end. Yeah, and I still believe, don't get me wrong, I still believe that this should end. Treatment of your people, we're talking executions. We're talking people had to be taken away from their families. You were not allowed to use your own language even. Yeah, very horrible past. And I'm acknowledging this and teaching people. The Sámi people were not treated well. And personally, I think that in Norway, learning Sámi should be mandatory for everyone. Okay, so this should be like the clearest point where I say that I support the Sámi people. Yeah, if I had the chance to learn Sámi, I would grab it, Though if I were to do it now, I would have to go really slow because I learn quite a lot of other languages.
And some people said that we were treated like animals. Wow.
Yeah, this is a huge hypocrisy, and now I understand that people might find it a little bit strange because they have grown up with animals being animals and humans being humans. However, if you look into like autonomy and neurology, there aren't that many differences between us. Though I can see that humans have higher intrinsic value. Many people try to disagree with me in the vegan community, but I'm willing to debate that. However, the right to life should be mandatory because all the traits that we give humans the right to life for are the same that animals do have.
My mind is blown. You were treated like them? Maybe that says something about how they are treated in general.
Yeah, and I still stand by that.
So if I say gathered, catched,
Yeah, this is the truth of it.
earmarked.
True.
This is the earmarking there is very different. They actually cut off a piece of the ear.
Yeah, many try to say that this is painless. I don't know the neurology behind there, but I see that there is blood involved, which means there are nerve endings in there.
We're talking killing. And I know many people have much against halal slaughter of the way they're slaughtered.
Oh, okay, this is something where I need to make a few comments because, yeah, I was a little bit unfair here.
Well, personally, I don't think there's something special with halal. It's just that people are proud of it, so they actually show how it's done.
Okay, both true and false what I said here is because what is called halal slaughter in Norway is still done with anesthetics. There are 3 ways of anesthetics that we use in Norway. One of them is electric, which basically they put a fork to their head and put electricity into their brain till they're brain dead. The other one is bolt pistol. They call it anesthetics, but you just make the animal faint. It's awful. And the third one is CO2 gas, where they lower animals into a chamber until they faint. But by that time, it oozes up and it's painful in the eyes because it carbonates. It becomes carbonic acid. And then they scream out in pain till they faint. These are the 3 most common methods to use of anesthesia. However, real anesthesia is too expensive. This is why they do it. So it is cruel either way. I don't know which type of anesthetics they use for reindeers, but it's most definitely one of those 3.
But the Sáme way, except for the prayer, they do it exact same way.
Yeah, well, this goes for Norwegian halal slaughter, by the way. It's way worse with halal slaughter in other countries, just to get that across. I don't stand by that claim.
But for more than cultural reasons, I saw this very interesting news article where it actually explained about they made a special type of fork to look like lynx teeth.
Yeah, okay, I am going to keep going here.
So that they could actually get back money from their insurance. And
yeah, remedies is a huge issue, and I will get into this after I come out with a few claims here.
yes, this is pure economic for most of them, and
I still stand by that it's mostly economic.
I'm not even kidding, because I've seen no other agriculture where they actually use the traits of insurance policy as much as I've seen from the reindeer herding.
I am going to take that statement back. Could it be true? Probably. Could it be false? Probably. I have no basis to say it is because I don't have access to any papers saying otherwise. Is it some truth to what I'm saying though? Well, so according to Raindeer, like, by the way, I'm using a lot of articles here, so it's a very bad form of proof, but it's all I got. So according to reindeer herders and farmers, there is a bloodbath going out in Norwegian wilderness. And this is actually a huge lie, because according to this, there are a lot more remedies within Norway than in many other countries that have even a higher amount of predators per square kilometer of wilderness. However, so they are actually getting the remedies back for 20 reindeers when one of them gets taken by predators. Again, this is very bad source to use, but it's what I got. And there are a lot of people getting remedies falsely. It has been reported many times in newspapers and such. Also here is another case. This one is the one that I was talking about, where they made a specific fork to mimic the bite of a lynx. This actually did happen, and I got proof of it. So yeah, the criminal police acknowledging that this has happened, and they've been convicted for it. And it's true. They acknowledge it is a problem, but I will not say that this is a bigger problem than it is with sheep herding, because I seriously don't know. So, let's get back to the video.
No other thing have seen so much fake incidents.
Which I can't prove, so I don't stand by it anymore.
I tell you how economic this is. They even view the reindeers as their own currency.
This is true. They actually view the reins as currency. Like, you can't ask a Sáme how many reindeers he has, because they equivalent to asking how much money they got on their account.
Really? We're now talking about thinking, living, rational beings.
Yeah, and this is true, and this is something people should acknowledge, that they are sentient beings.
And you see them as their currency.
And I still find this awful. Does it mean that I hate them as people? Absolutely not. Does this mean that I want to use this as like a negative towards the entire Sámi people? Absolutely not. This is specifically targeted at the reindeer herders.
We're talking ownership here. Does this sound familiar to any one of you? Someone that are treated like less? Someone that you actually kill? That you actually treat like there doesn't really matter? Does this sound similar to some of the incidents that you've had in your past? Huh?
Yeah, well, I still find it hypocritical, though I wouldn't frame it that way today. Although the message would probably be the same. But no, it has nothing to do with attacking the Sámi people. It is purely because I find it extremely hypocritical of the reindeer herders.
Hypocrisy is a big thing on this channel because most people are hypocrites.
Which I still believe to be true.
I am not attacking your entire culture.
No, okay, so this is very important. This is specifically targeted at the reindeer herding. Well, now newly, it has also been a truth about them wanting to start with the equivalent of Grindadrap, which is whale and dolphin massacre. But that's a different scenario.
I'm just talking about the abusement of reindeers that you have been continuing on for so long time.
Here is another thing that I also not necessarily need to take back, but I need to explain, because when I talk to some people and they translate, like most people, they translate in their head when they hear something in English. So basically the word for abuse that I use in Norwegian does not mean the same thing as the Norwegian word for abuse, which only means like either physical or mental abuse. In English, there are words like domestic abuse or life abuse, and that are the main things that I'm focusing on. So, are there physical abuse? Yes. Some have been found not guilty, and some are been found guilty of this. So it does actually happen. Will I say that it is a common thing? I don't know. I can't say it, and I will not stand by that.
But I'll tell you, leave them alone.
This is something that I still stand by. They manage to take care of themselves. So yeah, leave them alone.
And keep all of the other traditions.
This should be very clear. Like, I even want them to keep their old traditions.
Keep your yoik, keep your own clothing. You can still live out in the wild without
Very few do that actually, so false claim by me.
problem. I have no problem with you keeping the shamanistic culture.
No, absolutely no problem with any of this. I actually encourage it.
Because, well, personally, I'm a big fan of your culture, but not the way that you treat reindeers.
Absolutely. Like, I still don't like it. So, like, even if we look away from all the parts where we talk about things that may or may not be true, the inevitable consequence of having somebody in captivity, either if it's animals or humans, violence will occur eventually. So, if you go into mental hospitals, if you deal with anybody that can't speak up for themselves, this will happen, and it's sad. If you work with really young children or really old people with dementia, it does happen, and it is true. Will I claim that? Will I put this claim on specific reindeer herders? No, I won't. I just say that there is a probability for it. Does this reflect upon the entire Sami people as a whole? Absolutely not. There are vegan Samis out there, and I know a couple.
If everyone can just stop with that, and this should be recognizable for most of you, because you've been treated almost the same way as they are treated from you.
And I see how this can be found very much confusing, because, oh, they're animals, we're humans. But, like, in the way of, like, ownership and killing, me personally, I see very close parallels to it. That it's 100% similar. No, I can't say it is. Two different genocides are different scenarios where very different things happen.
I know some people are very angry when it comes to when you close up the road. And without a doubt, you were the first.
Yeah, so this is also a true thing that many people around in that area tend to have a lot of hate towards the Sami people, but it isn't much because of the Sami people. It is mostly due to the reindeer herders. I've talked to many Sami people who don't like the reindeer herders themselves because they have like the same issue. They can't as easily get to the hospital because they needed to remove the herd, and then they had to like drive through Sweden in order to get there and such. It's yeah, it is a problem, and it should be pointed towards the reindeer herders, not the Sami people as a whole.
Okay, you were the first, okay? Who were there long before you? The reindeers, they were there long before you.
Yes, that is actually true. So, humans kind of think that we have, like, this might makes right type of mentality. However, ask yourself, if aliens came down here and wanted to treat us the same way, would you accept it? If not, then we shouldn't accept the ownership of other beings here unless it's absolutely necessary.
Now we're talking who have the rightful rights.
So yeah, I also want to point a little bit more that unless it's absolutely necessary, and this is this established science now on vegetarian diets. So it is the position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics that appropriately planned vegetarian, including vegan diets, are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits for the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. These diets are appropriate for all stages of life cycle, and then it includes like what that entails, even athletes. So yeah, it is unnecessary. Therefore, we should take it into consideration.
Of that area, the reindeers. If you go into...
Yeah, also, I was actually supposed to get like a study, but I forgot about it. It is a very clear evidence from both Chernobyl and from Yellowstone that if you leave deer populations alone, it all works very well if there are predators in the area. So they saw a huge problem in Yellowstone till they introduced wolves. However, there is a reason why there doesn't grow much forest up in the north, and I'm not going to keep the claim that this is all about it, but it's quite clear that it can't regrow forest if there's a massive amount of reindeers without having natural predators around. Because like wolves, they create like more movement in, let's say, reindeers, so they don't stick to one specific spot where there grows a lot of grass, and thus when they have to like move around, trees are able to regrow, and forest will actually come to be. However, when humans come into play, like the scenario where you remove forests and have less forested regions is the consequence of that. And Chernobyl has now the best functioning ecosystem in all of Europe because there are no people around.
The newer society, you go vegan, and then you will have a lot more respect from way more people. And when it comes to like the spiritual aspects, who are the most spiritual? Those people who kill other beings, or those who do not kill other beings?
Yeah, this is like a really good good point bringing forward. So your actions are reflected upon what you do, and there is no doubt that these are sentient beings who can experiencing suffering and well-being and has the will to live. So taking their lives against their will, like many people will say, oh, but you just mentioned predators, and it's like, yeah, but we have moral agency that tells us that this is wrong. Like, we should understand this.
Ask yourself that question, that one question, and then we will see a brighter future for all of us. Not only you as a people, but all beings. And if someone would like to make me a Sáme knife, of course vegan made, so no leather, I will be grateful to get a special type of vegan dragon Sáme knife. I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, it is very closely related to a machete. It's very easy to cut through wood with just a blow. It's very good craftsmanship. So I'm not sure if this will be satisfactory, because I will never say that the reindeer herding is okay. However, I might actually have given the wrong impression of the Sáme people to some people, and I might actually have exaggerated when it came to the reindeer herders, just because I can't prove it. And it is all here. I will apologize to anyone that felt like they were being attacked as a people due to this video. The other video I see absolutely no reason to apologize for. However, if somebody are in disagreement with me about this, I will give you an offer to debate me on this, and I will defend the position that reindeers should have the right to life and have the right to freedom. And I will debate you on the ethical principle. And then we're not focusing on the other points here, just the right to life and the right to freedom. So I hope this is good enough. If it isn't, I just don't know what to say, honestly.